And joining us now is the president of Accuracy in Media, an organization that works to expose the growing threat of media bias and hold bad actors accountable. Adam Guillette, welcome to Victory News.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Adam, the DOJ has asked for a New York federal court to unseal grand jury transcripts from the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Meanwhile, as you just heard, legal scholar Alan Dershowitz says Epstein's booker, Ghislaine Maxwell, would be called or should be called to testify before Congress. Did you see the Epstein scandal bubbling up again? And where do you think this is headed?
Well, I think a story like this never ends because we live in a day and age in which trust in our institutions is at an all-time low. We don't trust the Justice Department. We certainly don't trust media coverage of it. Thus, whatever resolution they lead us to, people are always going to be skeptical.
You know, Adam, House Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida is referring Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution, alleging two instances where he lied under oath. Here's the Congresswoman earlier today.
Right now, we're seeing, obviously, inflation that he really has refused to address. And what I would say is that everything that he's done, in my opinion, instead of focusing on really doing his job and being held accountable, working with the Planning Commission, he's actually done the exact opposite, and he should be held accountable for his actions.
So, Adam, do you think this is an effort to get Chairman Powell to step down from the Fed?
I mean, they're clearly trying to oust him, and it's a great reminder that having a Federal Reserve with the power that it has is incredibly dangerous and always going to be political. You're always going to have a Federal Reserve chair who's got a view one way or another on the president and how he wants the economy to appear to be leading up to midterm elections, leading up to the elections this year in the gubernatorial races. So having that power in an appointed bureaucrat is dangerous and always leads to politicization. At the very least, the Fed needs to be audited so we can see what's going on inside there and what their practices are. But more than anything, this is a power that shouldn't be controlled by Washington.
Now, you've served as the president of Accuracy in Media since 2019. Tell us about the purpose of your organization.
Well, we do hidden camera investigative journalism and what I like to call cultural activism. We were founded back in the 60s to educate people about media bias. Well, now that mission has more than since been accomplished. So instead, we've essentially assumed the media's job, doing the real investigative journalism that they used to do back in the day before they became political activists at CBS News and at the New York Times. I love that police officers wear body cams. I wish politicians wore body cams. The next best thing is a hidden camera investigative journalist.
That would be very interesting with the politicians there. Now, in your time of leadership, Accuracy in Media's investigations into public education has helped lead to universal school choice legislation being enacted in a number of states. Tell us how that transpired.
Well, every time they pass these laws banning DEI, banning critical race theory, banning boys from girls sports, the politicians pat themselves on the back and celebrate a victory. But from our investigations, we've realized that consistently the radicals in both K through 12 and higher education think that they're above the law. And we go in with hidden cameras, we expose the illegal things that they're doing. These people get fired. They hold emergency school board meetings. And it makes the case, particularly for K through 12 education, that the only solution is school choice where the money follows the child. You cannot trust the bureaucrats in control of education today.
You know, Adam, President Trump has worked to get diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology out of university campuses. Has it been happening, or has DEI kind of got underground in academics? What do you think?
Unfortunately, all these laws have done, all these executive orders have done, has been to cause these people to print new business cards. They change their job title and do the same work. And that's not my guess. That's what we learn in investigation after investigation in states like North Carolina, Alabama. We have a half dozen states where we're releasing hidden camera investigative footage showing these people ignoring the law.
I can't wait to see that. Now, learn more about Adam and Accuracy in Media's investigative journalism and citizen-led activism to expose government corruption and radical activists. Just visit AIM.org. Adam Guillette, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet.